Thanks for listening to our daily devotional on lessons from our daily Bible reading. The lesson today from Leviticus 14 through 15 is, did you wash your hands? Did you wash your hands? How many times did you hear that growing up? I heard it time and time again. Even now, we come in from church, the kids are there, all of the mamas are saying, go wash your hands. Whenever my children were growing up, we'd tell them, go wash your fellowship off your hands. Well, today, it's like it's something new with all the coronavirus and such. Everybody's saying, okay, wash your hands. You go into a store, a sign, wash your hands. TV, wash your hands. And you think, have these people not been washing their hands before this? Kind of makes you scared of what these people are doing. But in our reading in Leviticus, the 14th through the 15th chapter, we're reminded of that very thing, the necessity of cleanliness, sanitation, especially in Luke chapter 15. You find that it says that they were to, if they touched dead things or if they were around somebody with an issue or something, they were to wash his clothes, bathe himself in water. 9 times that's said. It's almost like my mom's talking to me again as I read that. But it's like I said, that's something that the world should know. I remember as a student in junior high studying about the Civil War, and I was intrigued by the medical practices and such, and all of the lives that were lost. Lives that were lost on the battlefield were just horrendous. But if you study the lives that were lost due to infections and such, the treatments that were being given, and one of the things they found out, I've read things about how many lives could have been saved if they would have simply used common sanitation practices. Wash your hands. Look, and God said that. And what it does, it tells us of the scientific foreknowledge. There's a book written some time ago called None of These Diseases, in which a medical doctor examined all of the practices were given in the Bible and pointed out how God and his foreknowledge, if man had simply followed those, the number of lives that would be saved. Today, you'd think this is some great new lesson that's never been heard before. There's a disease out there. Wash your hands. What have you been doing beforehand? One good thing you can do is read the Bible. You'd find out God knew what he was talking about. But there's an important lesson that supersedes all of that. We know that we're going to die. Hebrews 9 and verse 27. It may be of the current disease, may be of some other, but the reality is we do what we can in this life. We apply the things that God has given us knowledge of, but we need to realize that we will all face death. And are we prepared for that? God didn't say wash your hands for that. Well, figuratively he did. But he does tell us that our souls, as we sin, as we commit sin, we're tainted with sin. It separates us from him, Isaiah 59 verse 1 and 2. But God sent his son that we don't need to pay the penalty for that. One of the beautiful passages is found in Acts, the 22nd chapter and verse 16, where Paul recounts his conversion. And you find that he was told, and here with an analogy of cleansing, he was told, why tarriest thou? Arise and be baptized and wash away thy sins, calling on the name of the Lord. That tells us that we have a wonderful privilege to know that there is something more dangerous than the physical diseases out there, and it's sin. Would to God that we would take the knowledge that in Leviticus, all of those things that were done pointed to the reality, the coming of Christ, and the real problem we face, but the sacrifice made by Jesus. If we'd but humble ourselves and in this life, do what's necessary, wash your hands. But for the life to come, purify your souls in obeying the truth. Look to God, Don't get upset. Just simply love him and keep his commandments. That's what Saul, who became Paul, did. He wasn't disobedient to that vision, and we know that he was baptized, that his sins could be washed away. What about you? I hope you're taking care each day. Practice proper sanitation. But more than that, make sure that you're ready for the judgment to come. Make sure your soul is cleansed from the sin that separates you from God. You have a great day, and you will if you do that. Thank you for listening. Thank you again for joining us in this Bible study. We remind you, if you'd like to follow along in our daily Bible reading, the link below in the description of this video will give you the PDF so you can read right along with us. If you have any other questions or if you'd like information on a Bible study, contact us with the information provided on the screen before you.